Hey everyone. So, a few weeks ago, me and my friend decided to make a video game. That is, if you consider this thing to be a video game. Well, it was going okay at first, until I imported a few clouds from Blender. Turns out those clouds had way too many polygons, which caused my laptop to overheat and explode. Figuratively, of course. Alright, enough talking. Let's get back into it. Okay, so first of all, I removed all of the clouds because, well, I don't want my laptop to explode again. I quickly noticed that there are a bunch of bugs in the game. For example, the loading bar isn't really moving. I guess the mistake is somewhere within these lines of code. I also noticed that when you try to resume the game, you still can't move. Anyway, those two issues were pretty easy to fix, but I'm sure you noticed the main problem with this game. It's just plain boring. This is not a fun game. You know what this game needs? Movement. Lots of movement. I've heard many great things about dot-tween, which apparently is some kind of asset that really simplifies moving game objects. Sadly, I don't know how to use dot-tween. So, yeah, let's find out. So thanks to that pretty helpful video, I got dot-tween, and then I made a pretty awesome script. I also created this tiny platform that the players are going to ride on. Alright, so I put my script on the game object, modified its values, let's see what happens. Boom. Just like that, we did it. I finally got movement in the game, and everything is working perfectly fine. Oh no. I'm sure that's totally not a problem, right? Well, whatever. The game still works, so let's just ignore these warnings for now. Anyway, the game is still looking pretty bland. Let's make it juicy. So I imported a skybox and tweaked the lighting of the scene, and boom. Looks pretty cool. The gameplay is still pretty boring though, so I added a timer that kills you if you're too slow, because sometimes in life, you just gotta go fast. Then I created a script that rotates game objects. And there you go. I'd say it looks pretty good. The timer is working fine, but that's not how objects are supposed to rotate. Definitely not. Now it's time to make the UI display correctly. Right now, the information you see at the beginning of each level are just placeholders. I want different information to be displayed for each level. That is, when I actually make more levels. And guess what? The best way to display that information is to use scriptable objects. Don't worry, I know exactly how to use them. Just kidding, that was a joke. I have no idea. Let's find out. So I went ahead and created a level scriptable object. I also made a script that's going to display the information contained within each level to the screen. And now I can do this. So I can create a new level scriptable object, I can rename it, and then I can change its values. All of this information is stored as a scriptable object inside of my assets folder. With these scriptable objects, I can now tell my other script what information needs to be displayed. Boom! All the information is exactly as it should be. This is the level selection screen. Here, you can play all of the levels that you've unlocked. Also, when you start a new level, the information displays correctly now. Awesome! Well, that was my first time using scriptable objects, and I have to say, they're pretty useful. Now I feel like adding some cool decorations to the scene, because honestly, the game still looks a bit bland. So guess what? I made a rectangular prism! Awesome, right? I also turned it around, copied it a bunch of times, and yes, these things do qualify as being decoration. I also modified the level layout to make it much cooler, and I quickly added some fog to make the levels a bit spookier. Wow, that's a lot of rectangular prisms. Well, I'd say the game is looking pretty good considering what I started with. Yeah, a few weeks ago, this game was barely playable, had a bunch of glitches and bugs in it, and of course, it didn't really look that great either. Now the game is definitely playable, and also looks much better. I'm gonna make more levels pretty soon, because now the game only has one level. You can barely call this thing a full game. I'm also going to drastically improve the main menu, because, come on, this just looks so bad. Thanks for watching my video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.